Hi, everyone, and welcome to another astronomical episode of
The Dungeon Crashers.
I'm Guy.
And I'm Zapeel. And today we're going to be talking about the new Spelljammer set, and this is going to be exciting for us. Everyone in our group, except my nephew, has played the original Spelljammer, and it has some very good memories for us of any D&D campaign so far. We are hoping for more of the same. We just started our game, so we aren't decided on the things like how good the setting is and how well the space combat works and things like that. For now, we are more concerned about the roleplay and having fun and memorable encounters. Hopefully the mechanics of the new version will be great, but if not, that's fine. Honestly, the mechanics of the first one weren't all that great, and we will do what we need to do and just house rule around anything we don't like. The races all look good, at least for the roleplay standpoint. In our current game, only one of our players is using a Spelljammer race, and it is the Plasmoid. This isn't because no one else wanted to use one, it's just we got a silly idea and decided to roll for the race, class, and background using all the source materials. So we have a pretty good eclectic bunch, and no one is even remotely close to being human. Before we get started, remember to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of our exciting D&D content.
And today we're going to be making character using one of the Spelljammer races and one of the new backgrounds. The race we are using is the Hadazee. I've been seeing that there's quite a bit of controversy about how Wizard handled the lore for this race, and I do think they might have given a little more thought to it before publishing it. But the race itself is a fun one. It actually predates the first Spelljammer, all the way back to Star Frontiers, which was TSR's attempt at a space RPG. I played that game too, and was a Yazirian, which is what the Hadazee were copied from. And that game was alright, not really spectacular rules-wise, but a lot of fun. In 5e, the Hadazee are an interesting race, in that nothing about their abilities leads them towards any particular class. They get the flexible ability scores that are becoming standard in 5th edition. The resilience traits is good for any character. The dexterous feat are cool, but not useful for any specific class, and the gliding is, again, good for any class. Barbarians might get the best use out of it since they are unarmored and have high strength for jumping, but even characters who can't use it that way still benefit from essentially a free featherfall, that also lets you maneuver. I like this because being neither specifically good or bad at any class means we can make a Hadazee into anything we want, from a shining paladin, an eloquent bard, an ambitious wizard, or a mighty barbarian.
You will want to read the rules for the specifics on these racial abilities, but they aren't that complicated. You are humanoid and can be medium or small, and we want medium because we are going to be using a two-handed weapon. You have a walking and climbing speed of 30 feet. A climb speed is nice to have, and you can use it to set up for a glide. To glide, you have a membrane that extends between your arms and legs like a flying squirrel, and they give you two abilities. One is free featherfall, that guy mentioned, which lets you use your reaction to prevent falling damage you take when falling, and can move 5 feet horizontally for every 1 foot you fall. And this doesn't use any of your movement, so if you were a beast totem barbarian with high strength, you could run 20 feet and make a 10-foot high jump, glide 50 feet, then land and run another 10 feet. Even if you aren't a strength-based character, you can use your climb speed to gain elevation to glide. Casters can use the jump spell. A Hadazee warlock with otherworldly leap could be a lot of fun. You can't glide if you're incapacitated or wearing heavy armor. They also get Hadazee resilience, which lets them use their reaction to subtract a d6 from damage they are dealt proficiency times a day. The last ability, Dexterous Feet, is probably useful, but not as much as it may seem. It does let you open doors or containers with your feet, as well as pick up or carry tiny items, but you can't take the use item action, so you can't drink potions, activate wands, throw flasks of oil, etc. And you can't use a weapon or a shield, and can't use your feet to execute a somatic components of spells. Although you may be able to hold an arcane focus with it, it still wouldn't let you cast spells without using a free hand, unless you have the Warcaster feat. Still, it isn't a useless ability at all, just not as good as we would like it to be. As Guy said, they get the flexible ability scores, which are 3+1 bonuses that you can put wherever you want, but no more than 2 in a single ability. For our ability scores, we are putting an 8 in strength. We won't need it, and looking kind of weak and unimpressive is going to fit our roleplay concept. And a 15 on dexterity, making it 16 with our first racial bonus. We are going to be a guy that tends to the rigging and mans the crow's nest. We are also going to be fighting with guns and a scimitar, so this is our attacking stat. We put a 13 on constitution, making it 14 with our second racial bonus. We may be skinny, but we are tougher than we appear, and we are putting a 15 on intelligence, making it 16 with our last racial bonus. We are a shipwright and engineer and gunsmith. Also, as an artificer, it'll be our casting stat. And we also put a 10 in our wisdom and charisma. We are not commonly wise nor foolish, and we don't stand out in a crowd, and even though we have a lot of tales to tell and love telling them, we aren't a fancy talker like a bard.
And for our background, we're using the Astral Drifter, which is a new background for Spelljammer. And as the name says, we are a wanderer who travels through space, and you have traveled so long on the Astral Sea that the Astral Sea has changed you. You no longer age and don't hunger or thirst. This means when you start play, you are 20 d6 years older than you look. You also gain 2 languages and the skills Insight and Religion, because you've seen a lot of things in your travels and met a lot of people, including a minor god or two. From these experiences, you have learned a secret or obscure piece of cosmic lore. You have also gained a minor boon from a divine being. You gain the Magic Initiate feat for free, but must choose the Cleric list. Cleric isn't an optimal list for us, as we have an average wisdom. Still, it's a great feature. For cantrips, we want Guidance and Mending. Guidance is one of the most useful cantrips in the game, and it fits with our personality. Mending is particularly good in Spelljammer because it's used in repairing ships, which we have to do quite a lot in our travels. And for the first level spell we can cast once a day, we are taking Bless. It's a strong buffing spell that always helps the party, and will be good even if we can only use it once a day. The background isn't mechanically the best for this character. The skills aren't the ones we particularly need, and the feature, while awesome, doesn't contribute too much to our fighting style. The reason we are using it is for the roleplay potential. On the surface, it seems strange that a background, which a character gets at first level, would imply that you've lived a long life and had incredible adventures. If that's true, why are you first level?
Yeah.
For me, that's the fun part. I'm a drifter, a deckhand, the crewman in the background. I've been on countless adventures, but they weren't my adventures. I can tell you all about the great captain I've served under and the mighty deeds of my many shipmates, but through it all, I was tending the ship, swabbing the decks, and often fearing for my life. I wasn't totally useless and definitely not a coward. I repelled borders with my cutlass and musket and shared many battles on the side of great heroes. I was just never the hero myself, and I'm totally cool with that. And I'm completely unaware that a series of events is about to unfold that will force me into the role of being a hero.
So at first level, our soon-to-be hero is an artificer. We get proficiency with intelligence and constitution saves, and 2 skills from the artificer list, and we want perception and history. Perception is important for a sailor, and you've learned to keep an eye out for danger, and history reflects all the things that we've seen and even been a part of in our travels. We also get proficiency with thieves' tools, tinker's tools, and another tool set of our choice, and we want woodworking tools. This is what we do on the ship to make repairs, maintain the ship's weapons, and generally fix whatever is broken. Your skills are valuable to the captain, and you've never have a hard time finding a ship to take you on, and are usually welcomed by your shipmates. We have proficiency with light and medium armor, shields, and simple weapons. Also, as an artificer, we are proficient with firearms, and they are our weapon of choice when we must fight. We also get magical tinkering, allowing us to imbue objects with minor magical effects that can be both useful and entertaining. A magical lamp is nice to have below decks, and a carved flower that smells like sweet roses can be an enticing gift for a pretty wench we meet in a port. Finally, we get spellcasting. We learn 2 cantrips from the artificer list, and we want Green Flame Blade and Firebolt. Fire is a risky tool to use on board a ship, but it gets even more dangerous to the enemy, especially since Firebolts light non-magical items on fire. We have 2 first-level spell slots and are a prepared caster and can prepare a number of spells equal to half our artificer level rounded down, minimum of 1, plus our intelligence modifier, so 4 for now, and we will prepare Detect Magic, which we can cast as a ritual if we have 10 minutes to spare instead of spending a spell slot. We also prepare Cure Wounds, Absorb Elements, and False Life. False Life gives us 1d4 plus 4 temporary hit points for an hour. This can be a lifesaver in large battles, and the way naval combat works, we should have plenty of time to cast it before getting into a fight. Combined with Hades's resilience, this should help us survive most encounters. For starting equipment, we want studded leather armor, a musket, a scimitar or rapier, and a dagger. We aren't proficient with the scimitar or rapier, but carry it because it's a proper weapon for a sailor. We actually are a much better fighter with the dagger when it comes down to it.
And by second level, events have started unfolding around us, and we have seen a lot of battle. As a good sailor, you've joined in defending your ship and have had to do more fighting than you have had to do in years. You're happy to do your duty, but sure wish some hero would step up to save the day. All this fighting has taught you a lot, and you take first level fighter. You gain proficiency with martial weapons and are becoming pretty good with your cutlass. You get a fighting style, and we want archery, making us more accurate with our musket, and you also get second wind, allowing you to heal a d10 hit points as a bonus action once per rest. And at 3rd level, we put a lot of work into the ship and its weapons, and we gain 2nd level of Artificer, and gain the ability to infuse items with magic. We learn 4 infusions and can infuse 2 items. The infusions we want are Enhanced Weapon, Enhanced Defense, Repeating Weapon, and Enhanced Focus. Any combination of these would be good for us. I prefer Repeating Weapon for our musket, making it +1, and it creates its own ammunition, letting us ignore the loading property, which will be useful when we get extra attack. We will also take Enhanced Defense on our armor, but improving our cutlass would also be good, as would getting an Enhanced Spell Focus. But we aren't using a lot of attack spells and prefer range combat when possible. At 4th level, we have put a lot of work into our ship's bombards and have become very skilled. We take 3rd level Artificer and get the Artillerist subclass. You get proficiency with woodworking tools, but since you already have those, we can take another one of our choice, and we'll take metalworking tools. We get 2 spells, Shield and Thunderwave, that are always prepared and don't count against the number of spells we can prepare, which is still 4. Thunderwave is a nice area of effect spell, and Shield will make us even harder to kill, which is good because there's a serious shortage of heroes on this ship, and you and your friends have been carrying a lot of the weight. We have also built ourselves a magical cannon. There are a lot of rules for this, and you should read them, but anytime you don't have a magical cannon, you can use an action to create one, and you can do this once per long rest or more if you spend a spell slot to do it. You can have a flamethrower that creates a 15-foot cone of flame dealing 2d8 damage to anyone in it if they fail a dexterity save. Or a force ballista that has a 120-foot range and does 2d8 damage to a creature you hit with a ranged spell attack, and it pushes them 5 feet. Or you can make a protector that grants you and anyone of your choice within 10 feet 1d8 plus your intelligence modifier temporary hit points. The cannon is a creature with armor class 18 and hit points equal to 5 times your artificer level. It can be tiny or small and can have legs if you want. And you can spend a bonus action to activate it. I like to make it tiny so I can carry it, and give it legs so it can perch on my shoulder. We also get another 1st level spell slot, and the ability Right Tool for the Job, allowing us to spend an hour creating a set of whatever tools we might need. The tools aren't magical, but do disappear if we use this ability again.
At 5th level, you take 4th level Artificer, gaining an ability boost, and we're going to make our Dexterity 18. Also, our cantrip damage improves at this level as well. At 6th level, you have been in some serious fights, but are coming out on top. The captain has noticed by now that you have some serious lack of heroes on this ship, and has started calling upon you and your friends to take a more active role in both battle and the ship's operation. Being good sailors, you do your duty. For 6th level, we'll be taking 2nd level of Fighter, getting Action Surge, allowing you to take a second action on your turn once per rest. This doesn't give a second bonus action, so you can't fire your cannon twice, but with your repeating musket, you can get 2 shots off. You can also prepare an additional spell and identify as handy ritual to have prepared. At 7th level, you have been using your magic more in combat than you have building things, and are becoming pretty good at it if you do say so yourself. You will take 3rd level of Fighter. You get Eldritch Knight martial archetype. Being a multi-class caster, your spell slots will be different than a single-class caster. You will use the table on pages 164 and 165 in the player's handbook. The Artificer isn't listed there, but they use half of their Artificer levels for the table at this level. We have 4 1st level spell slots and 2 second. You don't have any 2nd level spells, but can use them to upcast your 1st level spells. We learn 2 cantrips from the wizard list, and we want Sword Burst in case we get surrounded, and Shocking Grasp, also for when we would like to get out of melee. We also learn 3 spells from the wizard list, 2 of which must be Evocation or Abjuration. We want Burning Hands for another area of effect spell, and Protection from Good and Evil in case we encounter supernatural enemies. For our free spell, I like Ice Knife, getting us a ranged spell with area of effect, but Silvery Barbs is another powerful option. We also get Weapon Bond, allowing us to bond with up to 2 weapons, and after that, we can teleport the weapon to our hand as a bonus action, as long as it is on the same plane as it and you can't be disarmed of the weapon. At 8th level, we'll be taking 4th level of Fighter, getting an ability boost, and we'll use it to raise our intelligence to 18. We are doing a lot of thinking on this ship. The captain is asking for our advice about nearly everything, since there aren't any powerful adventurers on board for him to consult. This improves our spell attacks and save DCs, and also lets us prepare another Artificer spell. Purify Food and Drink can be pretty useful when you are lost in the wild space. We learn another spell from Eldritch Knight. We don't need anything particular, but Chromatic Orb does good damage and is very versatile. At 9th level, we're taking 5th level of Fighter, getting extra attack. Now we can fire 2 shots with our musket, or 4 with an action surge, and using the attack action is better than casting Green Flame Blade when using our sword.
And at 10th level, we take 6th level fighter, getting another ability boost, or feat, and we want to take the sharpshooter feat. We discussed this feat more thoroughly in our Death from Above video, but it has a few advantages. First, your attacks take no penalty for long range, and they ignore half and 3/4 cover, and you can subtract 5 from the attack roll to add 10 to the damage. Using Bless in the archery style, we can do this consistently and put out a lot of damage. And we now have 4 first level slots and 3 second.
Mm-hmm.
And at 11th level, we take 7th level fighter, and from Eldritch Knight, we get War Magic, allowing us to make a weapon attack as a bonus action after casting a cantrip. Our cantrips also improve again at this level, dealing an extra dice of damage, so we could cast a 3d10 firebolt and follow up with a musket shot, with sharpshooter, or cast Green Flame Blade, dealing our sword damage, plus 2d8 fire damage, and 2d8 plus our intelligence modifier to a second target, and then either attack one with our sword, or cast Sword Burst, dealing 3d6 damage to everyone around us, and then attack one with a sword. We also get another spell known, and it can be a second level and must be Evocation or Abjuration. Rhyme's Binding Ice is a spell from Fitzfin's Treasury of Dragons that creates a 30-foot cone of frost. Creatures in that cone must make a Constitution save, and if they fail, they take 3d8 cold damage and are frozen in ice, having their move reduced to 0 for a minute or until they or another creature use an action to chip them free.
Mm-hmm.
Creatures that save take half damage. We are also going to retrain Chromatic Orb to get Scorching Ray, making a spell attack to fire 3 blasts of fire, each one dealing 2d6 damage on a hit. You make an attack roll for each blast and can target them at one enemy or multiple ones.
Mm-hmm.
At 12th level, we take 8th level fighter, getting an ability booster feat, and we're going to cap our dexterity at 20. Our combat abilities are getting so strong that we're almost starting to think we don't need a hero to show up. The crew seems to agree. They always look to you for leadership in a fight, and the captain consults you about what course is set and has even let you in on his plans. We also get another spell known, and it can be from any school. Mirror Image is an excellent defensive spell, or something like Hold Person or Phantasmal Force could be useful for taking an enemy out of the fight.
Yeah, definitely. At 13th level, we'll be taking 5th level of Artificer. All this action has distracted you from your duties, and you start putting more effort into taking care of the ship. The captain has made you the chief engineer, and you intend to be worthy of the rank. From Artillerist, we get the spells Scorching Ray and Shatter added to our prepared spells, and we learn to construct an arcane firearm, which is a rod or wand that can be used as a focus for our Artificer spells, letting you add a d8 damage to any of them you can cast while using this focus. This includes cantrips, so it can add quite a bit of extra damage over the course of the battle. I would also change my Enhanced Defense Infusions for Enhanced Focus on this to improve the spell attack rolls and save DCs. We can also prepare a 2nd level Artificer spell, and Blur and Connect Jaunt are both good choices. We gain 2 3rd level spell slots. Although we don't have any 3rd level spells yet, we do have a number of spells that would be good to upcast. At 14th level, we'll be taking 9th level of Fighter, getting a use of Indomitable, allowing us to reroll a failed save once per long rest. We can also retrain a spell known, and since we get Scorching Ray prepared for free as an Artificer, we could swap it out for Melf's Acid Arrow, giving us another strong spell attack. At 15th level, we take 10th level of Fighter. From Eldritch Knight, we get Eldritch Strike, which means any creature that we hit with a weapon attack, they get disadvantage on their next save they make against our spells. We also get another spell known, and Snillocs Snowball Swarm gives us another area of effect attack option. At 16th level, we take 11th level of Fighter, getting improved extra attack, allowing us to make 3 attacks instead of 2 when taking an attack action, or 6 with Action Surge, letting us unload with a hail of gunfire against those who would attack the ship, which is good since it seems we are fighting terrible things all the time. You are starting to wonder if all those heroes you sailed with felt like this, having all this responsibility for the crew and everyone looking to them to save the day, but probably not. They are heroes after all. They probably think this sort of thing is fun. Maybe if you run into one of them in a port, you might ask them. At 17th level, we'll be taking 6th level of Artificer, getting Tool Expertise, allowing us to double our proficiency bonus with any tool we have proficiency in, which is good since keeping the ship together after all these battles is a full-time job sometimes. We also learn 2 more infusions and can infuse a 3rd item. What infusions you take will depend heavily on what items you already have, but this is a good way to patch up any weaknesses you might have. Cantrips improve here, adding another dice of damage. At 18th level, we'll be taking 7th level of Artificer, and we get Flash of Genius, allowing us to come up with answers to problems on the spot and even give advice to your shipmates proficiency times a day. When you or an ally make an ability check or save, you can use your reaction to add your intelligence modifier to the roll. We also get a 4th level spell slot to really power up our damaging spells. At 19th level, we're taking 8th level of Artificer, getting our last ability boost, and we are going to use it to cap off our intelligence at 20. We could also boost our constitution instead if you think 18 intelligence is enough for your save DCs and spell attacks. At 20th level, we're taking 9th level of Artificer. Our cannon improves here, doing an extra D8 to its damage rolls, and you can also cause it to self-destruct, dealing 3d8 force damage to anyone within 20 feet that fails a dex save, and half to those that don't. We also get to prepare 3rd level spells, and the spells Fireball and Wind Wall are permanently prepared. Other spells you might like to prepare are Blink, Haste, and Dispel Magic.
I really like this character, and I think it'd be fun to play. I like the idea of the hero that doesn't know he's a hero now. In combat, it has a lot of options and consistently high damage. It is tough and has magic to defend itself, and can handle some of the utility casting and even do some healing with the right spells. The one weakness I see is that there's a lot of competition for the bonus action, with War Magic, Eldritch Cannon, and some spells all trying to use it. But ultimately that is good, because you can pick whatever is best for the situation.
Yeah.
Sometimes firing 3 musket rounds with Sharpshooter and a Force Ballista shot is the way to go. Or maybe a Green Flame Blade followed by a sword attack would be better than 3 sword attacks and a blast from the flamethrower, or vice versa.
Yeah.
This character is also relatively low on hit points. Not bad at all, especially since we're often fighting at range, but we are still frailer than most straight martial characters.
Yeah. I hope everyone enjoyed this character and maybe are inspired to give Spelljammer a try. If so, we hope you enjoy it as much as we do, and it gives you so many good stories as we have gotten from it. If you have any questions, comments, or build ideas, please leave them in the comments section below. Next week, we are doing a almost single-classed Horizon Walker, so we hope you will join us for that. And so until next time, cheers.